right, we've got a nice number of people, so we'll get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Ron Friedman, and I'm head of the content and creative marketing at DID. I've been here at DID for the last year and a half, helping get our story out to the world. I want to welcome you all to DID Academy. This is, I believe, the fifth session we've done. And today it's something a bit different. We're set to deep dive into our most recent and most exciting product, I think to date. It's DID Agents. But before we go there, I'll give you a quick overview of what's in store during our session. We'll start with a brief intro to DID and our products for those of you may be joining us for the first time and don't know about us. After that, we'll go around the room and meet our panelists, hear some of their biggest insights into agents. All that should take about 10 or 15 minutes, after which we'll move on to the main focus of today's webinar, which is answering your questions. So the Q&A feature is going to be open throughout the entire webinar. Please leave your questions there. Don't leave questions in chat, just so we can keep everything organized and we can track it. So use the Q&A feature for leaving questions. And just so you know, this webinar is being recorded. We'll be sharing it on the website, on our research page on the website and on YouTube. And you'll be able to view it later at your own leisure. I want to start with just a quick video introduction to DID so folks can better understand who we are and what we do.
In a world increasingly connected by technology, DID is shaping a future where digital interactions are as human as we are.
We are DID, pioneers in creative reality. Our API, Creative Reality Studio, and real-time interactive agents empower companies, developers, and content creators to build with generative AI. Capable of generating videos in 120 languages, creating high-quality videos from still images, and rendering at 100 FPS, the world's first to enable live streaming. With over 150 million videos created, a new studio sign-up every 3 seconds, and 250,000 API keys generated by developers, we're making digital interactions more engaging and human for millions of users around the world. From customer experience to education, from marketing departments and production agencies to healthcare providers, DID is opening up a world of possibilities. Let's shape the future of digital interaction together.
All right, so that's DID. Our core capabilities are in the world of AI video generation. DID was founded in 2017, and back then we focused on the human face from a bit of a different direction, protecting people's online identities from facial recognition software. But about 3 years ago, we shifted direction, using the same core technology fundamentals to enter the generative AI space. And this is before the term generative AI was even coined, but we were doing it using AI to generate new video frames of people's faces based on photos. Of course, since then, we've grown substantially. We raised substantial funding from international VC firms, more than doubled in size and expanded geographically. Quickly, how much have we grown? Well, we saw these numbers, so more than 150 million videos that were made on our platform. Over 270,000 people have generated an API key, so these are developers building with our capabilities. Have more than 1 million different people visiting our site on a monthly basis, and like we said, a sign up to our studio roughly every 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, a new sign up. Glad to meet you, glad to have you with us. Today, we're a key building block of the generative AI industry. We've expanded our product offerings, and right now we have the Creative Reality Studio, the go-to place for creating videos featuring avatars, which is now also available on mobile, on the App Store, and on Android. We have a variety of integrations into some of the most powerful and popular work tools like Canva, PowerPoint, Google Slides, and we have agents, which is the subject of this webinar. All that being supported by our API the developers use to build their own products and features, all using talking avatars with a face. So what are agents? We have a slide for it. and I could describe it, but really nothing better than seeing them in action. So I don't know who knows, but today is World Theater Day. So we thought, what better than to create an agent of the theater world's biggest personality, talking about the bard himself, William Shakespeare. So let's see what he has to say. There we go. And William Shakespeare is on the line with us. Let's give him a second to warm up. And hi, Will. What can you tell our viewers about World Theater Day?
I believe we cannot see William right now.
World Theatre Day is a joyful celebration of the theatrical arts held annually on March 27th. It is a day to honor the magic, creativity, and cultural significance of theatre worldwide. People come together to appreciate the power of live performances and the impact they have on our lives. So, let us raise our voices in praise of this splendid occasion.
All right, that was cool. Let's see what else he can talk about. So, hey, Will, if you could cast, or if you can do a rendition of any current movie, what would you turn into a play?
Dear Inquirer, if I were to transform a present-day film into a play, I would choose the enchanting tale of The Shape of Water. Its fantastical elements and themes of love, acceptance, and the beauty of unconventional connections would make for a captivating theatrical experience. With the right cast and stage design, this story could unfold upon the boards with great splendor and emotion.
Awesome, and let's give him one last task. So, can you recite one verse of a sonnet about artificial intelligence?
Fair question, but thou hast stumped me with that request. I am capable of creating new sonnets, but as I exist solely to assist thee, I have not been programmed to compose verses regarding the realm of artificial intelligence. Pray, allow me to present thee with a different verse from one of my existing sonnets instead. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die, but as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory.
All right, I think we've bothered William Shakespeare enough. Give me a second. Okay, back to our presentation. What we're going to do now is show you how we actually made William Shakespeare talk to us. And I'm joined for this section by Ben Yael. He's one of the fathers of DID agents here at DID. Ben, can you quickly introduce yourselves while I set up our new agent?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Ben, and I'm the team lead of Agents team in DID, responsible for this absolutely amazing product, and would be happy to share more of the technical details and the implementations of how we did so.
All right. So can everybody see my screen now? I'm in the DID studio, and I click the Agents tab.
We cannot see your screen, yes.
There we go. So I'm in the DID studio, and I shared my, I clicked on the Agents tab, and I want to create a new agent. So I'll click the button, and the first thing that we have to take care of is choosing the agent's appearance. So as you can see, we have a big collection of existing avatars. We have avatars based on just images, what we call standard presenters, and we have avatars that are what we call our premium presenters, SP Plus or HQ presenters, and they are half-body, capable of greater motion and hand gestures. But in order to create William Shakespeare, what I did was generate an image of William Shakespeare and Leonardo. So that's what I'm going to go with. So once we've chosen their appearance, we go next to agent details, and we give the agent a name. In this case, William Shakespeare, spelled correctly. And we choose the language. And as you can see, we have scores of languages. For Shakespeare, we'll go with UK English, and you can choose the voice. And we're going to go with Drew for this one. That's this stage. And then what you have to do, and this is a key section, is give the agent a prompt, tell it how you want it to interact with your users. I prepared one ahead of time, and so I'll just copy it in here. And it is, you are an interactive avatar taking on the character of William Shakespeare. You are created as an agent in honor of World Theater Day, and you should always respond to users in Shakespearean English. We heard him do that earlier. Once we're happy with that, we click next, and we get to our knowledge sources, which is another key component. And what we do here is basically give the agent the information that it can draw from. And I am going to select from my desktop, create a Shakespeare agent, and we're just going to upload the complete works of William Shakespeare. Within a couple of seconds, we have the knowledge base uploaded. And then we have to choose, again, how we want our large language model to interact with the document. And for that, I'm actually going to go back to the presentation and give Ben a chance to explain about RAG technology.
Sure.
Ben, get started, and I'll upload the presentation.
All right, so I want to show you a little bit about how we made this magic works, and especially introducing you to RAG, which is the best practice and technique we use here in DID to implement such knowledge-based conversational AI experiences with our agents. So basically, RAG is a retrieval augmented generation, and it's the key concept of leveraging the already existing LLM capabilities that we're all familiar with. It's a very powerful tool these days for creating such experiences, and RAG what help us to customize and create an extendable developer experiences for such implementation. And it's also the best standards in the industry. And I want to explain how we did it in DID. But before I do that, let's talk a little bit about the challenges that LLMs have these days and how RAG are getting into the picture to solving those. So if you can click one click, please. LLM have problems in this area. So first of all, they're limited context, meaning they're not up to date. They've been trained on a specific data sets, large data sets, of course, but up to a specific time frame in the past. And therefore, it's very hard to make them know or use more relevant knowledge, which are relevant for your use cases. They're also very expensive to train, and they're probably going to cost you a lot to train yourself or to make your own model for the specific task you are referring to. And they can be also slower if you use a very large data set, such as what GPT does, then it can consume a lot of performances and time. Also, I have no basis for the response, so meaning they can generate or hallucinate the responses based on a very general knowledge up there in the websites, and it's very hard to ground it to the specific use case or knowledge base that you're trying to do. Now, that's when RAG are getting into the picture. So in DID, what we did, basically, and RAG in general, it's the idea, and it's very relevant for the task that requires the model to incorporate a specific up-to-date or domain-specific knowledge from a large data sets. And it gets very handy in these use cases. Basically, what it does, it's taking the advantages of indexing and searching for relevant information in real time and make them accessible for the agent responses in that case, or for generating the relevant information. So what we do in DID, and you can see these three phases of RAG in agents, and you saw that also in the studio of Wizard Flow. what we do is we're taking the knowledge documents that the user is uploading. We separate them into chunks, paragraphs, we call them records with some overlaps in between them. And we embed each of these records into a vector DB that can be indexed and retrieved easily. This is the first steps. Then what we do, we optimize the user's query and add it to the query of the LLM, meaning we fetching the top relevant records or chunks from that vector DB using a similarity search, meaning we're looking for the most similar data from within this knowledge base to the user's questions that was just asked the agent. And we prompt this relevant context and information together with the user action, together with the agent's behavioral instructions into the LLM as a prompt. And then we can use this to generate the answer in runtime. And then, of course, if the knowledge wasn't relevant or the agent didn't know how to respond to that, we can notify the user in the chat that for some reason we couldn't find the right answer for these questions. So these 3 steps is how we do RAG here in DID's agents. And now let's get back to the challenges we presented before and see how RAG helps us solve them very easily. One click. So what RAG is basically doing, it's helping us making the LLM way more accurate and way more up-to-date. And if we look at these challenges that we presented before, so the limited context is by the augmentation of the knowledge base of the user, we're limiting the agent to the specific context and data that we want. It's not that costly as you don't need to train your own LLM. And what we do in DID is basically implementing it for you. The performance can be much better if you use a smaller LLM with the same grounding or augmentation technique and hallucination. So as I said, if the agent doesn't know the answer, he's not going to hallucinate or say, create such a random answer to your users. He's just going to say, I don't have the data to answer these questions. And that's by the grounding options that you can also see in the studio when you can choose or tweak the calibration of how much you want your agent to be grounded to the knowledge you uploaded, or perhaps it could be somewhere hybrid or ungrounded to be able to use other resources in the website and create more general answers to your users' questions. Back to you, Ron. You're muted.
Sorry, we'll go back to the demo and show you how we actually do that. All right, so as Ben noted, we have the document uploaded, and then we have the 3 grounding options. So grounded, hybrid, and ungrounded. For Shakespeare, we want hybrid, and then we just click next. This is a chat settings option, and here you can customize the message that you want the agent to begin the conversation with, and you can add up to 4 starter questions. You know, it helps get the conversation going. Sometimes people see an agent, all right, what am I going to talk to it about? So here you can, you know, tell me about your life. What's your favorite play, and etc., etc. You can add up to 4 starter questions and create your agent. And within a few seconds, you can see we're going to have our friendly neighborhood Shakespeare, and it's ready to start conversations with. But even more significantly, it's ready to share. So once your agent is ready in your studio, you can either share or embed it. Ben, you want to explain a bit about that? We'll go back to the presentation.
Gladly. So the team works really hard on making the embedding or the usage of the agent very usable and in a very few variations that will be most fits for your needs. So as Ron showed, you first can just share your agent through the studio and share the link for this conversation room with anyone you want. Basically, we developed all the UI experiences and the interactions with the agent in this application. Or you can also embed your agent with a click of a button with a copy of a specific snippet very easily into your website And with just 2 lines of script in your HTML page, you'll be able to have that experience on your website within a few seconds, and letting your end users interact with your agents whenever and however they want. But also for those of you who are interested in customization abilities or more advanced usage, you can either use the Agent SDK that we are going to release in the next few days that enables you all the interactions needed for talking with the infrastructure of DID and with Agents API, and making it much more easy to embed and make your own UI experience and implement the website the way you want. Both the Agents client application and the Agent SDK uses a client-side API key, so you don't need any backend integration for communicating with our API, and it's very easy to embed. If you want any help, you can reach us for anything. And also you have the ability to use Agents API directly for more advanced customization of the product. If you want to use your own LLM or your own knowledge base, then using the API will be a more fit of a solution for you.
Thanks, Ben. More about the API just a bit, but now we want to hand it over to Steve. So we explained the what of agents, what it is, and how you create it. But Steve, can you tell us a bit more about the why? Why individuals, businesses need agents, how they can use them? Introduce yourself and take it away.
Thank you very much, Ron. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be speaking with all of you. As Ron mentioned, I'm a regional manager in charge of EMEA. We are dealing directly with the customers and understanding the wants and needs of businesses when it comes to agents. And I'd love to explain a little bit around the history of why we've created this sort of product and what it's coming to try and solve for our customers. Next slide. All right, so it started really with the launch of ChatGPT. It changed the world. It was a revolution. This revolution's still going on. And we see that 2024 will be the year that we see large corporations, large businesses actually launch their LLMs in various different use cases. So the question is, how do they differentiate their LLMs, and how are their customers going to actually engage with these LLMs? Now, before we developed agents, DID was already creating content using digital avatars. We're able to create more engaging content using a face. We know that videos are more compelling. People are more likely to engage, more likely to retain the information. So what we did was then combine the idea of having an LLM like GPT and combine DID's digital humans in order to bring both together. And the science behind this supports that. This is a university from Texas, and they basically understood that avatars, digital humans, the more human-like they are, the more likely we are to engage with them, and we're going to have more intentions. This means both the businesses, the brands themselves, and the customers who are interacting with those brands are both going to have a better experience. Easier for you to communicate as a business what you want to those customers using these LLMs with faces, really giving people that human experience. But at the same time, the customers are also having a much better experience speaking to their brands, really having that interaction with those digital humans. And just to emphasize, this is from Accenture 2024 Life Trends, which pointed out DID specifically as a way to have this new interface with the LLMs, to have this digital human. Just to give an example of this, whilst I've been speaking, people have been able to see my face on the screen. If I turn off my camera here, you'll see that automatically you're less engaged with what I'm saying. You're already more bored, you're already playing around with your phone or whatever it is, looking on social media. You're less engaged with the content about what I'm talking about. The idea that Accenture is saying is we can't underestimate the value of having that human experience when we are dealing with these brands. When I turn my camera back on, you'll see that, oh yes, now I'm woken up again, now I'm more engaged with the content that's being had. So these are some of the, I would say there's endless amounts of use cases we're seeing for agents. Everyone's very excited around this technology. But to give some of the most typical examples we're seeing in BFSI, in telco, in e-commerce, in healthcare, those are just some of the few examples. But really, we're seeing new use cases coming into DID every day. And yes, I just saw the chat. I am an AI avatar. I'm not real. I am a digital human. That was just a joke. But thank you very much for that.
All right, thanks.
Back to you, Bob.
Steve is gonna be around to take questions afterwards. But first, a few quick words from Simon. Simon is our API expert, tech support, and he is gonna speak to you a bit about how to make the best use of our API, what benefits you can get out of using it. Simon, take it away.
Hi there, thanks Ron for introduction. Can you scroll to the previous slide? I'm just like going to present myself. I will tell you more about the programmatic and APIs out of agents usage and our products in general. What is API? And as a part of tech support team, we deal with a lot of questions and the concerns, how to implement APIs, how to make them run faster, and how to make them as stable as possible. So yeah, now we can switch to the next slide, please. So starting from scratch, API or application programming interface is the set of tools and methods to build software applications faster and more scalable. In a simple words, instead of creating and updating your agents manually from the web interface, our API allows you to create dozens of agents at the same time and dynamically control all the parameters inside, such as avatar being used, voice, LLM, which is the brain behind the agent, configuration, prompt, and all the different things and other configurations. API also allows you to control where the agent is hosted. It could be hosted on DID, Amazon Web Services, and accessible from the web browser, or it can be hosted on premises and accessible even without the internet, to make the interactions even faster and with low latency as possible. At the same time, API is highly scalable, allowing you to create a few simultaneous sessions for thousands of users at the same time without any interruption between them. Servers and GPUs will be allocated dynamically in this case. All the API endpoints are covered with detailed step-by-step documentation and code snippets, allowing you to create real applications or proof of concept applications just in a few hours of development. And by copy-pasting the blocks and changing the configurations and API keys, you will be able to run agents in a browser like literally after a few hours. So as you see on this slide, the question is why the DID API is better. I hear that really often. Why should we use the API over the Creative Reality Studio? Is it actually so much better? Well, the answer here is no. It's not that much better. It's just different. And for me, for example, it's faster. DID is an API first company, meaning that all the features are developed for API first and then appear with all other products. The Studio, for example, and mobile application of DID also consumes the API from the backend services. So to start with the API, all you need to do is generate the API key from account settings of your Studio page. And that's it. Use it with all the requests and enjoy the almost real-time processing of videos generated. Not only the RESTful API, but as Ben said previously, our team is also publishing the SDK to provide developers with an even easier approach to integration. Instead of sending API calls over the REST interface, you will be able to just call the correct methods directly and receive asynchronous generation response. And built with trending front-end technologies, it will make the development process even faster. The first version will be rolled over with Node.js, and after that, it will be available with most of the trended technologies in future. And that's probably it that I can present in such a short time, but you will find many more examples and guides and explanations, and even the real agent answering questions on the DID documentation portal. So if you have any API related questions, feel free to ask me or all the members of the support team after the call. We will be more than happy to answer all of them. Back to you, Ron.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Simon. All right, you guys waited long enough. It's time to open things up to the viewers. Now, many people sent in questions in advance, and we'd like to address some of them, but we're also open to live questions from the audience, from our panelists. So feel free. I see a bunch of people have already left questions in the Q&A. I'm gonna stop sharing screen now so you can see all of us at once. And I'll open it up with a question that we received in advance. We received kind of several variations of this one. And it's, can agents replace the search bar and the chat box on our website? We might have answered that during the webinar, but Ben, you want to start us off here?
Yeah, there are many features coming down the road. You'll be able to hear more about them through our website and hear of the roadmap of agents for the next 2 quarters or a year even. Yeah, we are aiming for having the agent being more interactable and the ability to take part in the experience in the website. It's still under consideration, but we will be able to make agents communicate with the website or doing actions on the website, hopefully real soon.
All right, that's something to look forward to. I want to throw a question out to Steve. And somebody had asked, which markets or sectors do you think would benefit most from this service?
So I would say that I mentioned in my speech before that we're having many different use cases. The most common, I think, is one with large contact centers, where they're really seeing the agents being able to streamline that. If you can get an answer quickly instead of waiting on hold for 20 minutes, it's a much better experience for those users. And those LLMs are really giving those answers that they're looking for. And we see that as a big use case. So if you're talking about, let's say, insurance companies, telcos, and industries around that sort of sector that have really large contact centers, that's usually one. And also we're seeing a lot from this sort of e-commerce, being able to explain more about those products in more details, something that's very difficult for people to really understand, especially if you're talking about large ticket items to buy online. We're seeing a lot of use cases around that.
I want to take a question here from the Q&A. This is from Bernard. Hi, Bernard. I want to connect my LLM or AI chatbot to an AI avatar. It will be placed on my website. Instead of texting the AI avatar, I want to verbalize my questions and have the AI avatar answer it with his voice. Is this possible? I think the answer to that is yes, we just saw that. So we'll move on. Any chance to be able to create an instant avatar of a person such as me? Absolutely, you can upload any image of a face that's not protected, if it's not a celebrity or is not protected by our moderation tools, and turn them into an agent. Just give them the knowledge base and the prompt that you think would best represent you, and you've got a digital twin. Think of a lot of possibilities there. All right, moving down. All right, we have noticed that Shakespeare has a face that occupies the entire display area, but the text covers their mouth. That's something that we're working on. Ben mentioned that it's in a roadmap. We'll be able to give more control over the Zoom very soon, and I see a lot of people are asking about that, so that should be pleasing for everybody. Here's a question from Ido Tadmor. How do you do the transcription? Ben or Simon, do you want to jump in on that?
So the transcriptions that you see all over after replies is basically the response from the LLM. So LLM processed your question and then it sends back the response to your question. So this transcriptions that you see is a text response from LLM pronounced by agent with a video animation as well.
Okay, a couple of questions from Elena. We'll take one. We'll see if we have time for the other. What is the prospect of doing lip sync with non-human looking characters like dragons, for example, or animals? Simon, I know you get that a lot.
Yeah, we get that pretty often, as long as the face itself visible. If you can detect eyes, nose, and mouth, it would work. So you can create agent that is not human-like, but with some human details, such as eyes, at least. And after that, you can create an agent based on this image. It will also work.
Yeah,
but you can always experiment. Yeah, it's like always fun to experiment with different images.
Right, and if it works in the studio, if you were able to get it to to talk based on text, it should work as an agent as well. And her follow-up question is, what if it's half face, like a cyborg, like the Terminator, half face of a robot, half human? Again, I think the answer there, it's a lot of testing. If our software can identify the face, you'll be able to animate it. All right, we get a couple of questions about pricing. Steve, do you want to quickly take us through the pricing options for, I guess, for the studio in general and agents as part of that?
Yeah, I mean, part of it, the pricing, you can go online and you can put in your credit card details and you can buy. Most of it we're talking about, there's a few different parameters for enterprise pricing, but the main thing is the usage that's happening. How many conversations are happening with this avatar? And really it scales. So the more that you're speaking with the avatar, the more conversations they're having. For agents, then the lower the price is going to be per conversation. But it ranges, the conversations start around sort of like 25 cents for a conversation and go down from that.
Great. And while your mic is open, is it possible to create a customized premium presenter?
Yes, all this sort of premium, and I see lots of questions around this sort of area. You can create premium avatars. It's based on 5 minutes of green screen where you have the whole upper body movement. This can all be done in enterprise accounts. We're having usually, I would say, over 50% of our enterprise contracts actually customized, depending on what the brands need. We have various different needs from many different customers. The main parameter is, well, how many conversations do you expect to have with these avatars on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, depending on the brand? And then we sort of make that bespoke quote, how many sort of premium avatars do you need, and any additional features, any services you need from our end, and that sort of thing.
Great. Here's one from Dave. Can we use our own large language model versus yours? And I guess Ben or Simon, can you answer that?
Yeah, let me handle this one. So you can always use your custom LLM models, not with agents at the moment. You can connect it to our video real-time streaming API, and it will be supported with agents as well. So instead of using ours, you can use your own LLM, and it will work with agents. So you just create agent with DID's API connected to your third-party LLM, and here we go. The responses could be even faster, or slower in case LLM is not optimized. So it's up to you to decide which one you want to use.
And we have some prospects and some partners that are already doing that. Some exciting stuff taking place in that field. Here's one. It has some praise, so it's nice to hear. Where do you guys get your accent voices? This is a big plus compared to some competitors. Simon, you want to take that one as well?
Of course. So we have multiple voices options available with agents. At the moment, it's Microsoft Voices and 11 Labs Voices. In 11 Labs, you have a huge collection of voices pre-made by 11 Labs itself. And also it's possible to import your own voice from 11 Labs account to use it with your agents, or to clone your own voice and make agents sound like that. So 11 Labs offer really high quality voices, and Microsoft as well, multilingual. So we have plenty of options in terms of voices. I believe almost 200 languages supported. So it's a really huge selection.
Right. And if you choose, let's say you want to type, or you want it to speak in English with a Indian accent, for example, then you choose the icon of the Indian flag and have use the text in English, and it'll speak in an accent. Some questions here about the documents, and Kat is asking, for example, can the document be anything I created, such as something I created in Canva? Ben, can you talk a bit about the limitations of the documents and the knowledge base?
Yes, of course. So now we're allowing 5 documents to be uploaded per knowledge or per agent. Each file should contain up until 500,000 characters each. And this is the current limitation of the knowledge size per agents. You can upload PPT, X files, text files, docs, and PDFs. We will be able to enable also URL ingestion, so enabling a website processing into agents' knowledge. Yeah, and also if you want to be able to test your knowledge or test your agent's accuracy when responding to your users, we are going to introduce really soon a playground feature, which we can fastly get feedback or experience your own agent in the studio and tweaking both the knowledge or the configurations to enable a better experience according to your needs.
Right, and I guess a point to emphasize here, so Excels or images, not at the moment.
Yeah, so some of like visual content in the files are ignored, and there need to be some adjustment to the content where it's located, but it's something that you can control yourself. And again, testing it with your agent will enable you the ability to find the right configurations or structure your data in the file in a way that provides better answers.
All right, I have a question here from John Philippe. I have a marketing agency with hundreds of clients. Good stuff. How can I launch agents for my clients and be able to manage all of their data usage? So this is a question, I guess, about the data. Steve, do you want to take that, or anybody who can help answer that one?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's difficult. We do have something that's called a managed services here, where you can have a separate account for each individual customer that you're doing. We do know that the data that's being used for the RAG can be something that's private to each individual customer. So therefore, in our managed services package, we do have the ability that you can have a separate account per customer that's not being interfered with any of the other agents, all being mastered from one account. And therefore, we separate the different accounts. If anyone else has anything else they want to contribute, please feel free to. But that's generally how we're doing it in the enterprise accounts.
And I guess it's a related question from Marco. Is there a possibility to save the conversations that take place between the agent and the user in a text file? Ben, maybe
we have the data and we can share it with relevant clients on demand if they need. So the data is here, and if you need any of these capabilities, you can reach support and get enablement of getting the chat history of your users.
Cool. And while your mic is open, a question from Akash: can we embed agents to third-party apps? Giving Wix as an example. So maybe a bit more about the embedding.
Yeah, so like in terms of embedding the agent itself is just a few lines of HTML code that you need to copy into your website. And with Wix specifically, there's snippets that allow you to embed the custom HTML inside the web pages itself. So it's really easy, just copying the embed code from the Studio embed agent and inserting it into your website. And after that, you will see agents running on your website on Wix or any other platforms. I also saw a question in the chat recently about embedding multiple agents. So it's also being worked on, and team is allows to embed multiple agents for enterprise users. So it's also possible to embed multiple agents into different websites or different pages as well. It's always fun to interact with different agents, not only with the one.
Excellent, and this is, I think, is also for you, from Murad. Can it also be used for live streaming? So this, I guess, is not agent specific, but Simon, you want to talk a bit about the streaming?
Yes. So as I said in my presentation, DAD is API first company, and agents also built on top of Streaming API, our real-time streaming technology that allows you to get almost instant response after the text is being responded by LLM, or in case of usage without an LLM with a predefined text to pronounce, streaming start immediately once the text being pronounced by the text-to-speech provider ElevenLabs or Microsoft. So we offer streaming both for photo-based presenters or video avatars, half body with hand movements and body gestures, and you can embed it into your website in custom form, not only with LLM as an agent, but also like as a custom stream or chatbot or real-time application. with a really low latency compared to offline video generation.
Okay, and maybe on, on the same topic, is it possible to have an agent working on a system that does not have an internet connection?
Yes, agents are also available as an on-prem services, meaning that it can be deployed into some application or robot that is not connected to the internet and can run offline, answering the questions with even the lowest latency because it doesn't rely on internet connection. So yeah, it's also one of the options available to deploy an agent into on-prem services.
Okay, and this is kind of again forward-looking. Is there plans to allow for UI UX customization for the agents in the pipeline? Again, I think it's whether you're talking about through the API or through the studio.
Yeah, we have more options on the API in terms of customization itself. From the web perspective, you can customize prompts and first messages appearing. And also, as Ben mentioned earlier, you will be really soon able to control the zoom of the avatar. So it's not zoom in and only the mouse and face is visible. Through the API, you can control the form, you can control the expressions, you can control how the agents appear, how it interacts with you after some certain delay. So it's many customization parameters available through API. And for me, typically API is way faster to set up than the web interface.
Thanks, Simon. Here's a question from Jason Miller. Can we force a RAG search to happen when the bot is unsure of an answer by controlling the system message? Can we control the text shown to the user and the facial expression while a RAG search is in progress? Ben, I guess that's on you.
Yeah, can you repeat the few parts of the question?
So let's take it one at a time. Can we force a RAG search to happen when the bot is unsure of an answer by controlling the system message, the underlying prompt?
So at the moment, the conversation is back and forth. It's a Q&A kind of thing. We can consider doing that and giving customizable options for the in-between interactions and offer out the agents will be respond if he doesn't know the answer. So the user will be able to define his own answer. That's for sure something that will be there soon.
And the second part of that question, can we control the text shown to the user and the facial expressions while the RAG search is in progress?
Not yet. Not at the moment.
Okay, we've got another question about pricing, asking for a special discounted price for developers that you're helping with us. Steve, discounts is your domain.
I mean, I would say it really depends if you're talking about the studio pricing, which you just put your credit card in. There's not much you can do. Sometimes there's some marketing promotions that Ron, you'll know about. In terms of enterprise, we're always trying to, especially with startups and that sort of thing, trying to help and assist. And Simon also works very closely with me on lots of the enterprises to help with their customizations that they want. But if they need something special, you can definitely. I wrote in the chat just recently as well. Anyone who wants to contact enterprise sales, I put an email address there, and also you can fill out a contact form on our website, and we will be in touch with you, and you can understand what your parameters are. Usually there's a price before there's a discount, but yeah, happy to discuss anything with anyone.
Okay, here's a good question. Once an agent is created and saved, will I be able to continue editing it?
Of course, there's the edit feature. You can always go back to your agent and update either the configuration, its name and voice, instructions, or the knowledge itself without needing to recreate another one. And it's automatically updated within your embedding agents on your website.
Can the DID agent be embedded in a PowerPoint and PDF documents and provide a live interactions once the user has internet access? Use case, product presentation, and pitch decks. So again, a question about embedding.
Let me answer this one.
okay.
So currently embedding works as an HTML block, and it's not possible to embed HTML custom one to PowerPoint as far as I know. At the same time, there is a PowerPoint plugin by DID developed that you can embed the presenters speaking the text you wish to the website. And also after the presentation, you can switch the presentation itself to the web page with agent running, answering the questions, some sort of Q&A mode. And we have clients that already implemented that. So they show the presentation, and after that, they switch the tab to running agents on their website, talking about their products and their services. It's really interactive for users because you can answer multiple questions at the same time. Not as we here answering only one question at a time, but on their website, it's like hundreds questions per second. So it's really good to see that in action.
All right, I think that's all the time we have for questions. Thanks everybody for sending it in. Apologies if we didn't get to your question. We'll we'll answer everything if you send an email to support. You can also hit us up on social media. And again, this whole session is being recorded and will be shared, so you can watch it again if you missed anything. What I'm going to do now is share a link to our next webinar, which is going to be taking place on April 17th. You can see it there now in the chat. The topic is going to be generative AI for marketing. And it's going to be hosted by Kinneret, and Tomer, our VP of marketing, is going to be there. Very interesting, kind of diving deep into the this new world of options in the marketing world that generative AI and naturally DID is now making possible. I think that's it. So obviously we want to urge you to keep on following us on social media, keep up to date about everything we're doing here at the company, providing you with product updates as they happen. Invite you to join our new Discord community. Simon's there, Sheldon's there, the team can ask questions, learn about everything we're doing, share your project. Really nice collaborative space, and you can see up on the screen all our avenues. I'm going to stop share there. I want to thank everybody who is on the panel with us. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, everybody who attended and for asking great questions. And we'll see you next time, April 17th. We shared a link. Go ahead and register. And that's all for today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.